Cannot tell your neighbor he is stealing ducks when you are stealing funds.
As High Commissioner, I was wrong. As Charandas Prasad, I reacted naturally how any person would have.
I did not come here for that kind of abuse. I did not come here for that kind of abuse. If you're going to go down that road, I'll walk off.
But it's all okay once they're talking. If they weren't talking, I could not have been here today.
You got ADHD.
I got nothing.
Calm down.
I think I've done enough in terms of taking our team out of trouble from losing.
Tomorrow, Taylor. That's good. I'm reading the script now, and the first person that comes to my mind to play a detective,
Yes,
but
the
an
Chinese
erratic
Mikhail
detective, is Mikhail Rodriguez.
Why an African slap an Indian? Why a man and slap a woman? Look, how you deal with that? You deal with that.
We must encourage platforms like this because it brings together different people and allows for discussions to take place in our country on a multiplicity of fundamental issues.
You apologizing for something you think I did is wrong. I don't want you to do that, and you should not have done that. Good evening, or good morning, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are, because of different time zones. This is the Freddie Kissoon Show with co-host Akash Persaud. Akash Persaud couldn't make it on this show, this episode. This show over the past 2 years, 6 weeks, should have taught the viewers something about politics in Guyana. It certainly taught me. We have in our studio 3 practicing politicians, long-standing practicing politicians who have been in political parties. And they have never refused to be on this program. And all 3 of them said to me, when you want me to be on the program, let me know, because I have my views and I would like to promulgate my views, and it don't matter who on the panel. I will welcome the opportunity to speak about what I believe in. They've always said that to me. On the contrary, we've had politicians from PPP, PNC, other parties that over the past 2 years, 6 weeks would say, man, let me think about it. And you would say, but look, you're a politician. No party is going to raid you and ambush you. You have a platform to say what you want. Guyanese people may not agree, the host may not agree, but say what you want. Man, let me think about it. I am telling you, but top politicians from across the political divide. But we have some politicians here who said, listen, Freddie, I am coming. I am going to sit with any panel because I believe in myself and I think this is my job. 3 of those politicians this evening are the Vice President, the Vice Chairman of the Alliance for Change, one of the foundation members of the Alliance for Change, Michael Carrington, Rajendra Bissesar, who like me is a dinosaur, has been around the PPP and the FC for a very long time at a very substantial level. And then there's the mayor, former mayor of Georgetown, who is a PNC stalwart, Ubraj Naraine. All 3 of them are here this evening in response to 2 topics we would like them to discuss. Previous guests on this program, namely Joel Bagwandin, have said that he has solid confidential information that Exxon is backing Nigel Hughes in the forthcoming elections, and the intention is twofold: to create a consensus candidate and a minority government. The second declaration made on this program is by Dr. Mark France, former chairman of ANUG, and he's still in ANUG. he said that he believes there is a different thinking of young people in this country. And if Roysdale Ford and Amanzo Walton Desir should form their own party, they will pull votes from the PNC. So we will discuss those two questions separately. And I will pose the first question to the panel. And when they've exhausted their discussion, then we'll go to the second question. And if time left, they can say whatever they want to say. But before we introduce the first question, the Joel Bagwandan theory, Rajendra Bissesar has formed his own party, the United Democratic Front. And I will ask him if he could give the keys to one of my operators so they could go into his car, get membership forms, and share it out to Michael Carrington and Ubraj Naraine. Because AFC is uncertain. Ubraj Naraine backwards, they'll fold, that's uncertain. So they may team up with Rajendra Bissesar in the United Democratic Front. We go alphabetically, so we start with Rajendra Bissesar, then Michael Carrington, and then the former mayor. The question is, what is their take on the Joel Bagwandan revelation that Exxon will be playing a role in the election through Nigel Hughes, the leader of the AFC? One civil society activist that was on this program, Jonathan Yearwood, said he doesn't believe it. He don't think that is happening. Kian Jabour, the present chairman of ANUC, says he believes what Bagwandan is talking about. So I'll hand the floor over to Rajendra Bissesar.
Well, it's highly speculative. And so when one wants to cast aspersion actually on a leader of a political party, I would expect some evidence to support, because anybody can say anything about anybody else in terms of what they believe. If I'm not mistaken, Joel Bagwandan, from what I gathered, and correct me if I'm wrong, had a contract with ExxonMobil. So I clashed with him so often in various forums, especially in the group Moving Guyana Forward. And he's always defending Exxon. He was always defending Exxon to the extent where he actually cusses up people with F and S. That's the kind of character. Now, if anybody even criticized the PPP, Joel Bagwandan, Aftab and Hussein and a number, they don't mince word, they cuss you up, literal with obscenities. So I don't put in much credibility to the character and to the assertions of people like Joel Bagwandan. The fact is, he was on the payroll of ExxonMobil, and we all recognize that ExxonMobil has a contract that is actually robbing and exploiting the Guyanese people. And so him being part of that, first of all, caused him to lose all credibility in my eyes. So he's the last person who can stand up and criticize somebody else. Having said that, I don't think when you look at the major parties there, well, we know that Nigel Hughes has a contract. His firm has a contract with ExxonMobil, and so we have that on record. What is happening also is that it is recognized that the PNC signed a sellout contract with ExxonMobil. That is condemned by everybody from the IMF, World Bank, IDB, you name it. All international organizations have condemned it. The leadership of the PPP indicated that they would renegotiate the contract, and that was part of the election promise. They failed to do so. And even in my letters to the press, I indicated that Chatham House, which is a leading organization in the world, said even if you don't renegotiate the contract, at various times companies come to the government to get something from them, and you use that opportunity to extract something. But rather than using the opportunity to extract something from Exxon, our VP has been signing off.
But could we stick to the question?
Yeah.
About whether there is a Nigel use factor.
In other words, I'm saying I don't see why Exxon has to, in particular, have this relationship with Nigel when all the parties actually, to my mind, have sold out to Exxon. So to my mind, whether PPP, PNC, it makes no difference. As Nigel said, and sometimes you have to take somebody's word for it, he will, if he wins the presidency, he's saying it'll be a different matter. At the moment, apparently, he does not want to give up the contract that he has with Exxon. Not everybody is like Mr. Bissesar, because I don't care what happened to me. If something is wrong, I go against it. And I am on record, and Carrington knows this. I lost my job because of that principle. I don't care about the money. And if I were Nigel, I would place Guyana first rather than any income that is coming from a company that is actually robbing the Guyanese people. If I were Nigel, I would break relationship with such a company. I wouldn't want to be associated with such a company. But I can't say definitely that he's going to do X or Y.
Former Mayor Ubraj Naraine, PNC stalwart.
Freddie, thanks again to have me in your program. I have read several of Joel Bagwandin's letter to the press, and I have never found Joel Bagwandin wrote anything about the poorer class of people or the suffering or cost of living that is happening in this country. He always defend the ruling party, the People's Progressive, the PPP. He always defend Exxon. Now, this is a different faction where he is saying that he has solid information, which you make mention of, that Exxon will back Nigel Hughes. So who backed the PPP at the last election? He's saying the Exxon backed the PPP at the last election. I don't believe so. I believe I am speaking for myself here. I believe Nigel Hughes is a man of credibility. He's a man of transparency and accountability. And I believe that he is truly a leader for the Guyanese people. And he has a Mr. Bissesar make mention, Nigel Hughes has a contract. It's not Nigel Hughes has a contract with Exxon. The firm that he work with or work for has a contract with Exxon. And it's a firm decision whether they want to remove themselves from that contract because one of their employee or partner is the head or the leader of a political party. I don't see nothing wrong with that because the government of the day is very close, more than Nigel Hughes with ExxonMobil. The government of the day, the government of the day is more close than Nigel Hughes with Exxon. And the government got more input where they can fight and negotiate the contract with Exxon and bring more to the Guyanese people. We have to leave out Nigel Hughes out of this contract thing. Nigel Hughes, I believe, I look at him for the past months, he have been pressing for policies, and that is I keep make mention of, and that's why I supported Roysel Ford. Policies is something that we young people will vote on the 2025 election. Policies, we want our life to be better, we want our children's life to be better, we want a better life for all Guyanese in this country, and that is what I'm admiring. Nigel Hughes going down the road with policies, not of this mud tugging and drag to drain. What the VP and other politicians getting on with, even in their own party.
Carrington, you have any membership form of the AFC in your back pocket so you can give Ubraj? Because you see, he's speaking about your leader. The floor is open to you.
Good night, everyone. I'm Freddie. Nice to have me here with Bissesar and our former mayor. From what I read in terms of Bhagwan and Bhagwan and I'm seeing at the present moment, they have some people in life, when they see someone started to look like they're rising to reach the top, the president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana next year, and they're rising to reach the top, they have some people who will just sit back and plan all kind of strategy to tear that individual down, tear them down, especially in politics, find all kind of means to destroy that individual. I'm a member of the AFC, I'm an executive member, also I'm on the management committee. And so far, I don't know but anything in terms of where Exxon will be funding our party to remove the PPP out of government. I don't think at this particular point in time or any time that the AFC will go down that particular line. Nigel would not go down that particular line. I vow he would not go down that particular line to requesting finance from ExxonMobil to back the AFC to remove the PPP out of government. I think he's a very upright person since I know him for years now. I know him before I am in politics, I know him. And I see him as a very upright person, and he would not go down the line. So what you have is a lot of politics taking place, we call dirty politics. People just decided, I don't know which chair he's sitting in, if he's sitting in the chair of the present government or any other chair. But for him to be defending Exxon all the time, for all the years, and actually defending also the present government, and then to switch and attack Nigel, who is a lawyer for the Exxon Mobil for approximately over 20 years. His company is a lawyer with that firm. And if there's 20 years, I had not been found at that particular time when he had become a part of Exxon. So they talk about conflict of interest, and so I could understand if you're the president of Guyana, and as the president of Guyana, you have the responsibility of the assets of this state, and then you're also the lawyer for that particular company, which you are given access to the assets of this state. I could understand you being in a way in terms of conflict of interest, but he's not the president of Guyana as yet. When he reached that stage, he will resign. I'm sure that he will resign from the law firm as a member of that company. He will resign and he will take up his position as the president of Guyana and walk around that line. Nigel is one long now fighting and say that we need to have the contract renew and all those type. But he's a lawyer, and yet he's saying that. He's fighting for that, and AFC is fighting for that. We make some mistakes. Yes, they signed the contract, but the contract have a lot of flaw. But it may have a lot of flaw. But there's a lot of money coming into this country through that flaw. A lot of money. You're talking about over $10 billion coming into the country, where the government of Guyana is collecting about 1.5 billion per day. Collecting a lot of money. I'm not talking about the economic spin-off from all the small other companies that are associated with Exxon. There's hundreds of billions of dollars. A matter of fact, if you check the amount of money that the APNU AFC spend between 2015 and 2020, may be just about $6 billion. After this year finish, the PP will spend about approximately $16 billion US dollars, which is about $10 billion more than what APNU and AFC spent in that 5 years. So if they are spending $10 billion more than we had in terms of US dollars, then it's naturally a lot of the things that we were not able to get done, they will get done because they have the money. And they have the money because that contract had been signed by APNU and AFC. If we didn't sign that contract, that money at this point in time would not be flowing the way it is flowing at the present moment. Is not a little bit of money coming in this country. It's a lot of money. And it will all, and a large amount will, as I said, a large amount will go into ways called infrastructure development. Basically, I say hiding some of the money, instead of giving it some to the people in terms of wages and different things in different ways or so. Majority of the money will go into infrastructure, roads all over, bridge all over the place, drainage. And so we need it. We understand we need it, but we don't need everything overnight. We need some of that money to go directly into the pockets of the people, whether the increase in pensions to the minimum wage, whether it's other increase. I made to understand the president said that you will have a $50,000 for the voucher for the children, but you need a part of that money, as we had put forward, a 10.5% of the total income coming in to be distributed among Guyanese over 18 years old. Not going to a home, but long as you are over 18 years old, that money will bust up the total amount of Guyanese who are registered and will share out. So the contract, while the contract may seem that bad, we are still having a lot of money coming in to run this country and make this country the richest country in South America. But we need to give. I don't believe that nonsense that Niger will be involved trying to have Exxon fund us for we to win the election. I don't think he's going down that line.
Before we go on, based on the deliveries, is there any interaction before we move on from anyone of the panel? All three of you?
I would just like to say that while I wouldn't like to say just because we're having a lot of money to try to justify the crappy contract that we, first of all, it doesn't justify it. I know we're getting money, but it doesn't justify the crappy contract. What I like to say is this. I agree with Carrington in terms of the infrastructure overemphasis. To my mind, we are doing a lot of infrastructure that may not even be necessary at this point in time. It's like we're doing all this infrastructure in order to get drawback, in my opinion, and get these crony friends and so on, big contracts. What I'm seeing right now is like a growing gap between the haves and the have-not is glaring. It's glaring. You only got to look at Windsor Forest, Windsor Estate, and look at the rest to understand the widening gap in this country. When Bagwandin was on this program with, I think, the lawyer Wayne, what is his name? Darren Wade. Darren simply made a simple statement like this. You only gave the pensioners $3,000 US increase.
3,000 Guyana dollars. 100 a day.
And this guy, Joel Bagwandin, took off and started talking about the macro. How many billions have been received? He puts a total of how many billions. But that doesn't prove the man wrong. You give the people 3,000, some of them can die. You $3,000 you give them.
It's 100 a day.
$100 a day.
Guyana dollars.
Especially when you consider the rising cost of living, right? So that's a ridiculous position that Bagwandin take. And the president of this country and Bagwandin keep saying things like, we have put X measures in place. First of all, we have removed some of the taxes that the PNC has imposed. And so we have returned this to you. Well, that didn't make me better off. It just make me like I was before. Secondly, when you keep telling me you put measures in place that put $200 billion back into the pockets of the people, let's examine it carefully. Which section of these people we're talking about? Because I would say, Mr. President, if you're saying these measures put $200 billion back into the hands of the people, I got a simple proposal. Keep back all the measures. Take back all the measures. Take the $200 billion. Take 3,000 households, 300,000 households, and divide it among each one of them, and each one will get $600,000 for the year. Each one, 600,000. Because your measures that you put in place ain't reached to the bottom. It ain't reached to the bottom. You're walking around the country giving handout here, handout there. I am saying, when you give $40,000 to a child who is in school, what happened to the children who cannot afford to go to school? You're not looking at them, they're left behind. I know Carrington talked about one time about the this taxation.
Allowance for the
now you're giving them $40,000 for a child. $45,000 for a child. That can only cover the uniform and the minimum $100, right? It ain't covering nothing else. My position is this: we need more children in this country. Every child should have an allowance, a tax break. Every child. So don't tell me $40,000 and $45,000. Every child must have a tax allowance.
About $40,000 for
the first round. Is there any other thing before we move on to
the same thing on the financial thing, Freddie? And like I said before, Bagwandin's letter, none of it, if you have a trace of it, is in favor of the poorer class people of this country. None of it have anything to do of increase of pension and wages for our public servants. None of it. You must take a trace of it. I want to make mention on the same thing that Mr. Bissesar make mention of, which is the payee of this country should be reduced. The pay of this country should be reduced. You should categorize it.
P-A-Y-E.
Yeah, pay. Well, I say P-A-Y-E. Right? I wrote an article on it. And the value-added tax, VAT, also should be reduced. You make mention that you remove VAT from building materials. But right now, if you go to buy a sack of cement, better the VAT will remain on the building materials, because the people actually increase way higher than the 14% VAT. So it's better you had left the VAT on the building materials, because it become more expensive now, because there's no gap between these things anymore. So all of these things need to analyze properly. So when Bagwandin, he wrote a letter to the editor or editorial, you have to analyze it, and that's why I don't pay much attention on his letter and his editorial, because I find it, first he used to for 4 years he defend ExxonMobil now and defend the PPP. Now you're saying a different story to the people altogether at this point.
I just want to make one point.
But you made plenty points.
On the VAT, right? It is my opinion that the VAT should remain, and I'll tell you why. To my mind, the VAT is progressive to the extent that the average person earning $100,000 a month, when you put all the other things, hardly pay much VAT. Most of the VAT is paid by the people who earn a lot of money. They go to the restaurant and do all of these things. So in my mind, those with more will be paying more VAT. And I will say, take some of the VAT money and use it for a cost of living allowance or so for people. But I am not in favor of removing the VAT.
No, I didn't say that to remove the VAT.
No, I understand.
I didn't say to remove the VAT.
Point that VAT is a progressive tax in the sense that the millionaires and so on, they pay a lot more VAT than the average worker in this country. So I would prefer to leave the VAT.
Before we go on to the other question, is there any other reaction?
Well, one of the things that just crossed my mind is, as we're talking about money, is that over $2 trillion the PP government will spend within day 5, more than what APNU had spent. If you do the calculation, if you look at the budget and those type things over the last 4 years and coming into to the last 5 years, it can be over 2 trillion more. Not 2 billion, 2 trillion more they'll be spending in this country. The problem we have with a lot of the spending, I love project. I would like to see a lot of roads, and so it's the quality of roads. The president asked me yesterday, about the concerning roads in the village. If roads building in the village, yes, roads building in the village, but a lot of the roads are of poor quality. In Yarracabra, if you see some of the roads, not a year yet.
Tell people that's where you live.
Yeah, I live in Yarracabra, not a year yet. I lobby for years for the school, the primary school, the secondary school, proper roads, lights, and so forth in the village. They give us but $1.3 billion in road, Yarracabra, I think Haruni and Kurukuru area. But the roads are poor quality. It's only about 4 contractors that done all the roads had done proper roads. But the majority of them, they're cracking across, the sands are coming off. So we have a lot of people, they give you the contract, he take the contract and then give Freddie Kissoon the contract. So he take off the cream of the profit. Mm-hmm. So Freddie Kissoon got to build the road now. So he got the road where he got to build now. He barely get money to pay staff and able to pinch off a little because the cream of the profit already gone to the person who get the contract.
The crony friend.
The majority of the people who get the contract is not who doing the contract. All is subcontract to the other guys at a very low rate, and they got to punish to build that thing. So you must have substandard work. So we need a better system. The contractors, for me, and the engineers need to be charged. Because a lot of the projects were taking the place. I could understand projects create a lot of jobs. Small jobs, short-time jobs. I understand. I'm happy for some of the project, but the government got to do far more to deal with the contractors and the engineers who pass in those projects.
Okay, gentlemen, Dr. Mark Charles, a senior person, politician in Anug. Last year he was the chairman. He said there are different configurations emerging in this country because of our young population. And he feels that if Amanda Walton Desir and Rosedale Ford, who he feels were improperly or conspiratorially ousted from the leadership contest of the PNC, he thinks a new party by these people will win seats because it's a young generation, young people, and they're thinking differently. I'd like to have your views, and I guess our viewers can't wait to hear what the PNC man has to say, because he came on this program and openly said he's backing Rosedale Ford, and Rosedale Ford should be the new PNC leader. So let's take it alphabetically. Bissesar, should Amanda Walton Desir or Rosedale Ford join the United Democratic Front, or should they form a party? And if they do, you think they're going to dent the PNC's electoral prospects?
I think definitely the PNC is in trouble. It's in trouble because over the years it has not represented the ordinary people, to my mind, and they continue the same type of corruption, maybe lesser or greater than the PPP, but definitely it has betrayed the tenets of decency in terms of they became corrupt. Unfortunately, so far, like the PPP, most people stick to the party. And that's one of the unfortunate things that happens in this country. We tend to stick to the party, less of the evil or whatever they call it. So Amanda and Ford have not given any indication to my mind that they have any intention of breaking away. Secondly, I don't believe in the whole idea just youth. It's what you stand for. Let's take Bernie Sanders, who is in the USA.
In the 80s.
And an elderly guy, and he's left of center, he's a socialist. Mm-hmm. And he has gotten a lot of support from the millennials.
No, he didn't. Dr. Charles didn't say young people don't want
No, I understand.
Folk. He's saying the way they are thinking.
No,
they would prefer
I don't know how they're thinking, because I haven't done a survey and I don't think he has done so. I've been talking to people, and what I gather is this: they are tired of saying we do better than the PPP or we do better than the PNC. What the youth of this country want to hear, because that's a very low standard. What the young people want to hear in this country, that we set up some system where they can benefit from the wealth of this country. Because this country is very, very wealthy. And none of that is trickling down to the young people. None of it is trickling down to young people. Take, for instance, take Berbice. Take Berbice. Some people complained to me the other day. They don't have an engineering faculty. They can't do engineering because they can't afford to pay rental in Georgetown and so on. I don't understand. That's one of the largest county after Demerara. Why we can't put an engineering faculty there? Why is it
engineering faculty at UG? Yeah.
No, at the UG campus, right?
Yeah, the UG campus,
decentralized, right?
UG campus in Berbice.
I don't understand where we have a country where you need a certain type of skills. And so far, neither of these two parties have fashioned our education system to suit the necessities of the economy. Our education system is like dinosaur. It has to be revamped, completely revamped, so that education can be directed in a way to get our people, give them the skills required for the country and for them to get jobs. So they're not tackling this at all. Take for instance health. They want to build how many big hospitals, and right now the colonoscopy machine down. The other day, the testing for blood couldn't take place for 4 months, and a machine cost $4 million.
Wow.
They have no policy, no creativity. Let me show you what's happening in this country. They're allowing. Abroad, certain roads you have scales, certain trucks are not allowed on it. They have permitted these big ones to bring in 50-ton trucks and 60-ton trucks. How can you allow the importation of 50 and 60-ton trucks to come into this country when you're building road that can hardly take off 30 tons? Now, if you go to the Enterprise Road right now, there's no road. All of it's like sinking. By next week, you can't travel with your car. So they have no policy, they're not thinking, there's no creativity in any of these two parties. And so what we like to see is not just youth. I'll tell the youth of this country, don't look at young or old, because that's just another way of dividing people. Don't look at race, don't look at gender, don't look at youth. Look at policies that could be directed to develop the youths and the country. Don't tell me because of young. Bharat was there. Bharat was thrust into power by Janet Jagan against all the arguments that myself, Fazal Khan, Olal, Ramjitan, we argued against it. But she had her way. And that was a young man we put into power. So what happened? I mean, did he transition this country? Did he redirect policies to benefit young people? No. And we're talking about the present president. He's talking about removing excise tax from fuel. I drive a car, so it benefits me, it benefits the businessmen. But the fare hasn't dropped. So what you did, the measures you put simply benefit a certain category, but nothing is moving down at the bottom there. Nothing.
Rajendra Bissesar, you're using this program to put your party platform, but anyway,
I'm not using it. You invited me, sir.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. You have the right. You have the right to enunciate.
I'm talking the truth.
You've never shy away from coming on the program. But I know to say in common parlance, you're trying the thing with your party program anyway.
No, but I mean, I would like to see this implemented. If they could implement it, it's fine with me.
Well, we have a problem here now as we go to Ubraj. If Rosedale Ford forms another party, that's the end of Ubraj saying the PNC. Because he will go to that's the end of Ubraj Naraine. He campaigned for Rosedale Ford, and I guess that's it. Rosedale is forming another party.
I campaigned for Rosedale Ford under the banner of the People's National Congress Reform.
But if he's forming another party,
I don't know if Rosedale or Amanza will form a party. I don't think that is my concern. I believe that is for them to discuss and for them to take.
No, but like Bissesar said, what's your take if they do? Will they succeed?
Well, if they decide to do that, if they decide to do that, I believe that they will pull votes from the People's National Congress because both of them are well equipped with political knowledge and their background for many years in the political arena. And both of them are lawyers. And I believe that both of them, the policies, I've been wrong Amanza, I've been wrong Roysdale, the policies that they have intention to do for the Guyanese people, it's fantastic. It's a great one. And I believe that they should be given a chance in my political party. They're no way on the executive body of the political party. I'm not speaking of me. I don't really interested in the executive position. I'm interested in the people, get to meet the people and help the people out there. But both of them, I am seeing them on the executive, neither co-op or anything. But I believe they have a wealth of knowledge, both Amanza and Roysdale, that they can bring to the PNC, to revamp the PNC, and to get membership going in the People's National Congress. For me, and I am speaking very bold here, I'm loyal to the PNC, the People's National Congress Reform. I've born in this party, I've known this party, and the constitution of this party, people may have different views, like Mr. Bissesar, but that is his view, my view. I believe the People's National Congress is one of the most democratic party according to the constitution. And that is the principle I hold on. And the membership of the party, if you claim to have thousands of membership, those people should really seen in the field and be working in the field to get the PPP out of power. I haven't seen that. I'm being honest. I haven't seen that. I am here doing my little what I can do for my people out there, my party comrades, and I will continue to do that as long God give me the health and strength and the resources. I've been to Wales last weekend. I had a 3-day religious function in Wales, and the people complain bitterly about the PPP, right, in Wales. And these people are voters who support the PPP, right, and complain bitterly what is happening in Wales with land issue, with the estate, land, and all these things that are happening in Wales right now. And they're displeased. And you know, one educator came to me and said that, you know, next couple morning they will come here and they will say that we'll give you cash grant and they will put the icing on the cake. So that is how things happen in this country, Freddie. I believe Amanza and Roysdale are a great asset to the People's National Congress Reform.
Okay. To let our operators know, our television monitor is off. Could you please come in and turn it on? That doesn't affect the program, but please turn on the television if our operators are here.
You know, Freddie, one of the shots.
No, I will come to but pardon me? Operator, thanks. Well, if Amanza and Roysdale Ford form their own party, because of the ethnic configuration, African Indian, they form their party. Amanza Walton is African, Roysdale Ford is African. So one has to give way to Indian in the prime ministerial candidacy.
Freddie, let me tell you something. You know, many people call me about this. I have no interest.
So you're going to decline?
You're going to decline? Look, I am not saying I'm going to decline, but if this thing ought to happen, I will welcome it, but I have no...
So you're not saying if you're going to decline?
No, Freddie, listen to my statement.
If the party is formed, right? You have to... It doesn't... Historically, it's Indian, African, the two things.
I'm a humble servant of the people.
Nigel has to find an Indian one.
I have no interest.
Bissesar has to find an African one.
Freddie, I want to be a humble
all right,
servant to
I
the
know,
people.
but the people
I want to
but
serve
the people form a party, they're going into the election.
It's just like that you're going to join a party. It's just like that you're going to join a party and run wild. No, I don't think so.
Well, the party is formed by Roger Ford, Amanzo Walton, Gary Best, and them.
No.
They need an Indian prime ministerial candidate.
I don't.
So you're not saying right now that you're going to say no.
He said he will not just no.
Carrington, Dr. Mark Charles say that Amanzo Walton and Roger Ford will get votes if they form a party. That happened in 2006. The AFC was formed and it pulled 5 seats from Robert Corbyn's
It's really
PNC.
6.
6. Oh, yeah,
really
they
lend them one. Yeah. Well, Freddie, most of the time, if you read me carefully, hard to get into PNC internal actually problem.
Well, that's not an internal problem.
I was disappointed when I see both of the person decline. I do not believe in decline. I believe you go to the poll, however vote you have, but they decline. In my opinion, they may pull some votes out of the PNC, but I don't think they will pull the vast amount of votes. There are people, when they vote, when they are accustomed to voting to see either PNC or APNU, and they are accustomed all the years, most of the time, they do the same way. Most of the time...
You need to turn off that
Most of the time, the people who vote for the PPP,
please turn it off.
They normally, when they go to the poll, it's like a club. They belong to a club or a West Indies, and we are West Indies cricket. We support in West Indies whether we lose or we win. You have some people like that. What you will have is some spin-off, where you have some people who might be annoyed or so will move and shift off. But I don't think a large block of the PNC people will shift off if this new party come on board. While AFC was lucky to trim off from both sides, the WP, and pick up some Amerindian votes and those type of thing. We pick up, but that votes in the last election that we run by ourselves in 2011, that gave us about 35,000 votes. 35,000 votes. So I think they will form a party, but they would not pull that big chunk away, but it may hurt the PNC, may hurt the APNU in terms of any future election. So they got to decide what they want to do. If they want to run, if they want to pick up their seats, independent seats, be those independent parliamentarians, create either prevent a winner-take-it-all system from happening. They got to decide. But I do not think that big dent will come to APNU if they, because people really vote for the party mostly in Guyana than the individual themselves. The party name is what's carried from years to years. And this is my view on that particular.
We are open now to all kinds of configurations and equations.
If I may say this,
what you want to say?
You know what I find sad? I'm sitting next to a youth, and I hear a statement like, "I was with the PPP, which for 25, 30 years, and I didn't adopt an attitude, I born PPP and I can die PPP. That's a sick attitude that has kept this country where it is. Backward. It's a backward way of thinking. If people like myself did not break with the PPP and support the Alliance for Change and the coalition, the PPP would have been in power forever, okay? It's a good thing that you have people like me who could break away and think in terms of the issues as opposed to I am born a PPP and I born a PNC. And one of the unfortunate things is that this youth you're talking about in those parties, right? If they could behave like Bissesar and break away, then they will demonstrate to me that they have some independent mind. But as far as I'm concerned, all of them born like PNC, born again. They're born PNC and they're born PPP. Fortunately for this country, We do have a 20% and it's growing of independents who cut the navel string for these two parties. We have about 20-something% independent, and hopefully that will grow as we try to educate our people. So if I were to address the youth of this country, I will tell the youth of this country, nobody and born in no party. You have to change your mentality that the old people got, and you have to start thinking what is your interest, what is your economic interest, what type of policies can service your economic interest and the interest of the future generation of this country. And I am hoping we have a lesser and lesser amount of people who say we barn PNC and we barn PPP. Now, in terms of the people.
No, you said you wanted to respond to that. So you responded to him. Let's move on.
I didn't mean what Mr. Bissesar referred to. The question was asked and I give my view. Now, I agree with him to an extent, but Mr. Bissesar should know this, many reasons why he left the PPP and he left the AFC, right? People knows, right? But corruption. The thing is in the PNC, right? The Constitution is what I'm loyal to in the PNC, right? I'm not no loyalist to the leader or anybody in the party. I'm loyal to that Constitution. That is what I hold close. But if you are coming to tell me about policies and projects of this country, and I make mention on this program already, the 1970 development plan has been executed by the present government with all the bridge and the highway. I have a soft copy. I can send it to you people.
I know that.
Right? I wrote 2 articles on it. Burnham had a vision for this country. Burnham had a vision that to take Guyana on the entire Caribbean map. Burnham was a part of CARICOM, right? But in that, we want there's many Indo-Guyanese want to stifle their conscience, Freddie. Many Indo-Guyanese want to stifle their conscience. Well, it's Burnham made many Indo-Guyanese rich today because they say ban flour and potato and so on, and they used to bring them in and sell them. That is how they get money in this country. When we come to facts, we must come to facts.
It's a bit simplistic analysis.
We must come to. I grew up in Wakenham. Right?
Why do you know you Wakenham this way, man?
Right, Wakenham. I born at Saudi Hospital, and I grew up in Wakenham, and I can tell you.
So you know my wife's relatives, the Johns.
So the entire Mauritius.
You know Teacher Ed?
Yeah.
Teacher Ed taught you?
His wife.
Shireen, yeah, my wife's cousin.
The entire Mauritius and all these players used to bring in contraband goods and sell it to the entire Swikibon and all these things.
The community can't get rich by two.
I just want to say.
Anyway, let's Carrington.
There's a difference.
Let me not go down the road. Let me not go down much more. But you claim that youth is a vibrant energy in this nation, but nothing given it to youths. I agree with you. By both political parties, then government and this government, we haven't seen that much progress.
You know what is funny?
Right?
You're talking about like all the Indians got rich.
No, I didn't say.
I said it's irrelevant. The fact that a couple of people got rich, man. The vast majority couldn't even get butter and basic to eat. So don't tell me because a couple of Indians get rich, suddenly this man is this great man.
No, I didn't say that. We talk about policies.
Let me finish.
You're in the finance.
No. The reality is Guyana became poorer than Haiti. By 1973, we had deep chronic deficit at the balance of payment level and at the budgetary level. This country will actually.
And why it come about?
Those are realities.
Why it come about? Why it come about?
Why it come about?
Yeah, why it
policies.
What policy?
Who was against certain policies?
No, you're gonna go that. Let me ask you a question. When the House of Israel kill Father Dark. When 10 of them beat me.
You cannot beat us, so now you got on a different thing.
You're moving now from the economic side now.
We're not talking about that.
If he said Bonham was good because of some 1972 plan, why he can't reply and say the guy was a political dictator and he ruined it?
Beat protests and all kind of thing.
Did Bonham order that?
Look what you're asking.
I'm asking you a question.
Who defend?
I'm not trying to defend Bonham. I'm asking if he
who brought
ordered
the House
that.
of Israel here? Right. Who operated? When at Border Market? You know Border Market. When Rodney was talking there, when the House of Israel touch came with sticks, the police standing and look at it. We got a fever, Border fever, and start beat people like hell. Beat me, Big Deal, the sheriff beat a whole set of us. Was going after to kill Rodney's Snack saved him. All of that you want us to ignore, right?
Nobody wants you to ignore. We are talking.
All
listen
this
to
guy
me.
is saying just because he banned goods and couple Indians got rich.
You got to fight and this and that.
And couple Indians got rich. Here. When the party was split, the richest Indian in this country went with the PNC and all generalizing that one thing. In other words,
not the rich alone. The educated one went to war with
well, I don't know what that
right. SS Ramphal.
The fact is,
all of
he said
them
when the PPP and PNC split, Ramphal came after that.
You always got people selling.
You know, Freddie, I'll tell you one thing. The PPP tried to rewrite history in this country. Right? The PPP tried many times to rewrite history in this country. And a few.
But I think he's claiming you're rewriting it now.
No, I'm not rewriting. I have factual. I facts that I can present to Bissesar on all these things in 1970.
Hello, we have a dictator that was murdering people, destroying people.
I have known that.
You don't know that?
No, there is no way in the history of God. That was you say.
Or the CIA never intervened here.
That is what you say. Right?
This gentleman says the CIA never intervened.
You got 3 more minutes. Let's
we gotta deal with the topic next.
No, but Bharat is God. Bharat never do nothing to the poor people and Irfan Ali in this country right now. Like you said, if Bonham are the certain things, well, therefore we should ask the public out there if President Ali and the VP are the certain things to be done in this country economy right now. According to Bissesar.
I have written letters in the press confirming what you're saying, attacking Bharat, attacking the PPP. I've been on television with this guy all over the place. So you can't tell that to Bissesar because I am on record on television up to now. Hundreds of articles in the press slamming the PPP and slamming Bar Jagdeo. So you can't tell me about that at all. I'm independent.
Anyhow,
I am part in no party.
But let's give Carrington a chance.
All right. My basic concern is that I think a lot more money need to be spent in technical education. We were dealing with it, having those type of education in Burmese, and so I think all over this country, the schools need to be like, for instance, Linden Sussex Highway is 27 sawmills on the highway. I think Linden have about 34 sawmills. Wood in abundance. We should be training the youths in those particular areas in wood products. You can't even buy a proper furniture in these days inside some of the stores that we have here. Years ago, we used to have beautiful wooden antique-looking furnitures. I remember all those guys died. We need to. The problem what they have here is that they don't want to pay the trainers properly. The trainers. And the budget, for instance, is about when I do a calculation, is about $65,000. It's working out to train a person. And if you train a person within 3-4 months, $65,000 can't do anything. If you know about training. If I have to train somebody, I start them, there's an expectation.
What's your point?
There's an expectation that basically you need a lot more money to be invest in technical education right across the country.
That's what I said earlier.
Yeah, a lot of money. Training, the majority of jobs that are available is in the skill area. It's not so much in the right. So, in the past, at least why I'm getting to it because you once said around all of them multilateral schools. All them multilateral schools, you had sewing, you had woodworking, leathercraft, shoe repairs, and all of those things you used to take part in most of the schools. All those things last couple of years actually disappeared.
I just want you to know.
So we need to put that
we
back
got a
in the
minute
school.
more, but I just wanted to know.
On the PNC time.
There's a
PPP time.
There's a second time you went.
From then.
We've got a minute and a half more. So just briefly, what are the three of you will be doing as we come down to the elections? How you see yourself? Quickly.
I will be doing campaigning.
Start with Bissesar. We have a minute and a half more. United Democratic Front, presidential candidate Rajendra Bissesar. Who's the PM candidate? Yeah.
There is somebody, but we can. I will say this much: we need to. I agree with Carrington about the restructuring of education. I spoke about it. I would like to see the money being spent to lift the standard of living.
Don't start again with a manifesto. What will you be doing in the coming months as the election come on?
Well, I'll be in social media, and later on I'll be in the streets holding meetings. I was well trained by the PPP, by the way, so I can run an election by holding all these small parties didn't hold public meetings. And I was the campaign manager for the FC in Region 8. And so I know how to run an election in addition to everything else. So I will be operating at the lower levels, not this fancy ads and so on, wasting money. I'll be interacting with the people on television, on social media, and on the ground.
Ubraj Naraine.
Well, I am right
PM
now
candidate for the. What will be the new party? If they form a new party, what is likely to be the name?
I don't know that.
Man said he was born in the PNC. Bissesar.
The Bissesar laughing, right? He couldn't get what he wanted, so he cut and run. So
that's a low blow. That's a personalized attack because I was personal assistant.
No, we gotta go.
To the president.
Look, we gotta go.
I was personal assistant to the president.
No, we gotta go.
And I criticize the corruption.
All right, we gotta go.
I will be on the ground, Freddie. I am on the ground.
So you want that?
I'm right now distributing school backpack, sorry. I've been to Timeri. I've been to a different area. I'm heading to Rumfeld this week. So I'm in the fields.
You are sitting next to the third in charge of the AFC. Is the leader, the chairman, that's number 2, the vice chairman, number 3, and number 4, the general secretary. You're looking. You know what man said?
I hear you.
So you're looking at the number 3 of a party.
What he's basically saying, he as the leader of the party is only he makes sense in his party.
I did.
Yeah, because you're saying his only number 1 makes sense in the AFC.
Yes, I agree.
Just said that,
but that doesn't mean in my party. That doesn't mean in my party. That's you.
Yeah.
So quickly, we gotta go now.
I on the ground. I am on the ground all
you're
over.
You're sticking with the AFC in the election.
I'm sticking in the AFC. You must have a proper opposition. And a proper opposition could work all the time, and then suddenly you could be in government. So I am working on the ground.
I still think when we go to our cars, you guys must share what membership form.
Is it possible that the AFC could replace PNC as the main opposition?
Well, people saying that, but I don't. Let me see what will happen next year.
We have to put that question to the man who was born in the PNC. Listen, this has been a discussion on 2 topics. Dr. Mark Charles of Anuk said if Roysdale Ford and Amanzo Walton form a party, they will get votes. Joel Bagwanden says the Exxon is backing Nigel Youth for a consensus candidate. We were discussing those 2 things and then we went into other areas. Our panelists have been with us. They have made this program successful. They have an open invitation. There are some people, politicians here, who have said yes to us all the time because they believe they should come and enunciate what they believe in. Our panelist was Rajendra Bissesar. He is from the party called United Democratic Front. There is the PNC stalwart, former Mayor Ubraj Naraine, and the vice chairman of the Alliance for Change, Michael Carrington. We will see you later. Catch you later. Bye-bye.